Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Kevin and Grace Reynolds here with the Not Just a Cleaning Lady podcast show. Hope everybody is doing well. We're broadcasting live from Northeast Texas from the beautiful Piney Woods. And we're here today to talk about the cleaning industry. We're excited to have AHCA member and cleaning leader Melissa Sharp joining us today from Las Vegas, Nevada. Melissa, you doing all right?
Yeah, we're all good here. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. We're looking forward to visiting with you and getting to know more about you and your business. Share a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got started in this industry.
Yeah, my parents brought me about 38 years ago here to Las Vegas from kind of all over. They were both military Marines, and so we kind of bounced around quite a bit. We landed here in Las Vegas and been here for 38 years. My mom had raised us up in the cleaning industry. She had her own business, so we cleaned schools and libraries and gas stations. At a really young age we started, and we went to McDonald's. She managed McDonald's part-time too at night, and so we would clean that and sleep and then go to school. So it was kind of a interesting, we did paper routes too, but it was just an interesting life to grow up into, having the experience of cleaning and having that knowledge. And I went on it put me through college to be in the civil engineering field. And then I did that for 25 years and decided it was time for me to get back to my roots and do what I love, which is serving the community and just being, providing something to homeowners that, not necessarily they can do themselves, or they don't know how to do, or they don't want to do. And so being able to step into that role and do that and help the community out in other ways too, other than just cleaning their homes, but serving in any capacity that we can. Sometimes it's just a conversation, it's a kind word, it's a hug, it's, letting the clients know that there's other people that care about them. So
Absolutely. And, so you're coming back to your roots, right, in the cleaning industry. And I think that's really cool that your mom showed y'all while y'all were young that, you can go out there and you can, make your own money, and that you can do things on your own and not have to rely always on a job. When you were young and working with your mom, did you ever think this is what I'm going to end up doing in my life? Like I'm going to be an owner of a successful cleaning company when I grow up?
I don't think I was really thinking about that per se. I always knew it was going to be there for me. It was something my mom did instill in all of us, is that you've been given the skills to a tool that you can use for the rest of your life, not only in your own home, but you can build on it and build a business or do it part-time, to make extra money. So it was always kind of a tool that I had in the back of my pocket. And I always, where there was times where I did free cleaning for an elderly, or family member said they had a friend of a parent who was disabled and needed help, and we would gather together, our little tribe, and we'd go clean the home for free. And so it was always in my life in some form or another. It just came to life that when I retired, it was what I wanted to do, and it was something I knew I'd be good at, and I was passionate about. So it was an easy decision to do, but to think it was something I would end up doing, no. I think I had my sights set on some bigger pictures. I originally wanted to be a veterinarian, so completely off the. I ended up meeting my husband, and things changed, and obviously I ended up staying here in Las Vegas and going to school here. So I tested high for civil engineering, and that's just where I landed.
Yeah, that's really cool. My brother, one of my brothers, I'm the oldest of six, and his wife are both civil engineers. And so we've got engineers in our family. With your experience as a civil engineer, is there anything with that experience that helps you now in this industry?
Really, just it's structure. There's a lot of structure there. There's a lot of discipline and structure, a lot of organization and planning. So it helps in the sense of when you're building your business on how to stay on track. It helps you. I think it's more discipline, trained it is anything as far as bringing it into this business, and then just having systems, knowing that, that worked with systems, you got to bring that here and make your systems here work and function like you would as if you were in another career. So having that mindset and that knowledge, I think, really helped. And then also learning how to do a timeline, time management, knowing that this time set aside just for emails, this time set aside just for, quoting clients. This is for, some problems maybe we might have to address. So you're just slotting out your times that you need to do, team meetings, setting up parties for, our 3-month group parties, just always knowing that there's something to plan and something to do and where to put it in a time slot. That would be something that I'd say was important that I learned from that experience.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know, like that's one of the things that I think a lot of people struggle with, even in other business, business owners in general and entrepreneurs. It's a really important part of growth and making things run smoothly is having those systems and being organized. So that's really cool that you were able to bring those experiences into this industry. But I'm assuming those systems have developed over the years. And you have teams, right?
Yeah.
Doing the work every day.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So
we have some commercial and large majority of it is residential. So it's some of it is solo work, some of it is teamwork. It just depends. The majority of the homes that we have are really large homes. It falls within our niche, and so a little more luxury, higher end. And then we do have, our families and our middle class that is probably, I'd say 50% of our clientele is the middle class. And so working families that mom and dads both work. And as of late, with the COVID and all of that, we've had a lot of families just home, during the cleanings. So that's been interesting to come to homes and have it full of people, which wasn't something that our cleaners ever did. So having a group or a team really makes that a challenge. And what we've opted in our business to do is when we do have families home, we just send one cleaner. That way we're not, bombarding them with 3 or 4 cleaners, or we've got one person in their home and they can move around that person, fairly easy. When we've got 3 or 4, they're kind of scattered out, and then it makes hiding from the cleaners a little more difficult. So in those situations, we like to just send one, unless it's a massive home, then obviously.
Right.
5,000 and above, we like to send 2 cleaners.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because and I'm curious if you're seeing it too, but even since COVID, we're seeing a lot more people now working from home just in general. And so, and I know that comes up in the business, which is, hey, we're working from home. And so are y'all seeing the same thing down in Vegas?
Yeah, we are. It's gaining momentum.
Yeah.
Which, we don't mind if the clients are home. It's just sometimes we can be in their way, they can be in our way, and and that can be a problem, especially plugging in cords and stuff. You need to be mindful. You need to make sure you're training your team to be mindful of those things, because we don't need someone tripping and getting hurt and having wet floors. So there's a lot of things to take into play when there's people home, and having those conversations with them and communicating with them about it as you move through the home, letting them know, hey, the floors are wet, or we're going to be in this area, please be careful. So there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen as you're cleaning through the home too, to make sure they're aware, just for their own safety.
Yeah, absolutely. And also we hear, running the vacuum and making noises when people are working from home. They might
be in a meeting.
Right. They might be on a Zoom meeting or something like that. And so the communication with the homeowner saying, hey, are you going to be on a meeting at a certain time during this hour or 2 that we're here?
Yeah, we have quite a few clients that we have to work with on the time frames of when we can come. So, whether it be, from, let's say, 11 to 2, they're in meetings. And so it either needs to be before 11 or after 2. And then it requires sending, a bigger team so they can get out more quickly. But yeah, so I'm sure you're running into that too, of like needing to accommodate the time frames a lot more. Whereas before COVID, a lot of people were just at work and left a key or a code, and we came in, you know, whenever before 5 o'clock. And it was a lot easier to do the scheduling at that point. But yeah.
Yeah, a lot easier. Yeah, I agree. We're seeing the same over here too. Yeah, for sure.
So a little bit more challenge in the scheduling and everything,
Right.
but you know, more people working from home. Guess what that means, y'all? That means that we're sitting at home, we're looking around, and we're seeing all the buildup. And what does that do for our mindset, right?
Right.
And living in a properly cleaned and sanitized home is not just good for our physical health, right, but also necessary for our mental and our emotional well-being as well, right? So the more people are working from home, they're looking around, they're getting up and they're going, man, I really got to get to these baseboards, and then they sit down. And so, having a professional cleaning company, service your home when you work from home is a huge plus for your mental well-being, which makes you more productive, more confident, and really just happier too, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree. When I get my house cleaned, it's the same. I feel so invigorated and just a little more fire in my bum. I can just get more done. And so, yeah, for me, it's definitely a good feeling to know your house is clean and you're breathing fresh air. And yeah,
absolutely.
Does y'all's team members clean y'all's home, or do you hire somebody completely separate from your business?
We actually have our team do it. They like to do it, and it's kind of fun to do some training too. We like to do some additional training in a couple of our leadership homes where we'll have little tests in the home to see how the cleaners react to it. And that also helps me with testing my core values with them, how they're going to react to certain situations. And that's where integrity falls into place and honesty. And so we like to do that just to see how they score. And it's pass or fail for me. There's no mistakes when it comes to that. There's got to be trust, between the cleaners and us. And so if we don't have that, then we don't have a relationship, and it's not going to work, because it is my number one core value. And I apply that to when I also hire clientele, and when we take clientele on, it's got to be a good fit, because if it's not a good fit, then we're going to be dealing with issues that we shouldn't be dealing with in our business. And so that really helps to know who your niche is and who your clientele are. So
that is really cool, Melissa. Can you give us an example of how?
Yeah, we gotta know.
We gotta know how you test them, like an example of how you do that with the cleaners and the clients, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, no problem. So with the cleaners specifically in the homes, we'll have like on a shelf, we'll have an item that's set together. It's broken, but it's put together. So when they go to grab it, obviously it's broken. So if they just put it back and set it back on the counter and don't say anything, that's a point system. We'll put a credit card underneath the cushions in a couch. Number one, if they miss the couch, then we know, because on our checklist, we'll have a list of things that they're going to attack for that day. And if they miss underneath the couch and don't find the credit card altogether, then we know that's an issue. And then if they don't report the credit card, then we know that's another issue. Maybe like loose jewelry, we'll have a ring sitting, on a sink where it would be in a glass thing that they'd have to pick up and clean. So we're like, hey, we found your ring, we put it back where it was, here it is. Sometimes it'll be money, leave it, laying around. So we do test them on every level of, behind the toilet. Are they, we put a penny, or we put something behind the toilet, not necessarily a penny, but we'll put something back there to see, or under rugs, to see if they pick those items up. Right. So there's a lot of test points that we do, but those are just examples of some of the things that we do. Paintings and pictures, same thing. We'll test with little tissues, that we'll put up on top of the paintings to see if they hit those. Okay. Just areas that are on the checklist that they should be doing. Right. And if they're not, then those test points will get tested. And as far as clientele, when we have conversation with them as we're onboarding them, we can gauge pretty quickly if they're going to be a good fit or not. And we like to also match them with our cleaners. So we like to kind of figure out, if she's really bubbly and she's really, the client's really engaging and very excited, then we know we probably need to match her energy with a cleaner that's going to be more energetic and more able to communicate with her level, versus maybe a more quiet cleaner who's just more reserved and just head down and goes to work and, has little no reaction because they're used to not having people home. They're used to just going into the home, putting their going to work. So, that would probably wouldn't be a good fit to put them together.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we just listen to the clients as we're onboarding. We like to listen to, ask them a lot of questions. What about your last cleaners did you not like? What would you like to see with us coming in? So we just really like to open that communication channel with them. And we like to let them know throughout the whole process of us being in their life is communicate with us. Just have this conversation. If you have issues, please let us fix it. Let us know so that we have an opportunity. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to miss things. We have bad days too. We're not perfect. We like to strive for excellence. That's our goal when we train our cleaners. Sometimes, just the reality of it is that it's life. We're all lifing, and life is happening with us and at us and to us. And so, but yeah, we like to engage the client. We like to just kind of see where they are and how they fit within our core values. We like to talk about what our core values are to them. And if it feels good and it's a fit, we like to take them and offer them to come on board with us and clean their homes and serve for them. That's our main goal.
That's awesome. So we've definitely seen that throughout the years and know how important it is to that matchmaking portion of it, and really trying to put the cleaners who would best get along with the clients, their psychology behind that too. It's like you're having somebody in your home and you need to be able to feel like their family almost, and then so if somebody just feels like cold or uncomfortable around, whoever's coming into their home, that's going to definitely impact their experience of the cleaning itself. So that's a really good point to bring up, and great advice for everybody else in this industry who might be trying to grow their teams and maybe haven't thought about that before. So Melissa, do you use any kind of software? How do you store that information? Or do you just kind of move through how do you do that scoring process?
We do have some training stuff that we created just for our team. So we've created kind of a 5-day training system that we put through each cleaner through. And then we do, once we go live with them, basically once we say, okay, you've passed this portion of the 5-day training, now we're going to go ahead and put you live. And when we do that, we put them in homes like this where we test them. And because I need to know who I'm hiring, and I need to know we've stalked their social media accounts. We've gone through, the background check, drug testing at this point. We've done all of the necessary legal reasons to consider them, onboarding to continue. And then we have to go through, for me, it's testing them morally just to see where they are. And if they match up to what the interview was, if they do meet all the core values that we're looking for, then those should follow in their actions. Those should follow in who they are as a person in those testing moments. And 90% of the time they know they're being tested. There's a couple people we might put through that we don't let them know because we might be questioning some things. So we'll hold back on letting them know. But other ones, they will know this is a checklist of items that we want you to do in the home. This is a test home, and then we let them go. So, yeah, but we do have systems. We do use, I don't know if I'm allowed to drop names on what software we use.
Sure. Yeah, please do.
We do use Jobber. That is something that we do use that handles all of our scheduling. It handles our pay coming in from the clientele, so everything's automatic. And then in that, you can put client pictures, notes. You can text the client. So there's a lot of options in there that we have where we put the checklist in there. So each time the cleaner goes, there's that checklist that rotates items or whatever the client prefers or wants or needs. anything the client needs, they can kind of send a note to the cleaner. Hey, this time, could you skip this and do this? So we kind of have that information in there too as well. And then as far as like the rest of it, it's just spreadsheets. Honestly, it's just a lot of spreadsheets with our costs and each client and how it breaks down the time and cost of goods and everything else. It just kind of breaks down and splits it all out, so we know where we're at. And then we use QuickBooks. QuickBooks is another integrative thing with Jobber, and it integrates with our bank, so everything's all in one. So that makes it really easy for payroll and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know if you want to grow a business, getting software for all the scheduling and keeping track of the day-to-day, automating that is really important. And I think it's like, still 70% of our industry is still doing the pencil and paper,
Can you believe that?
or maybe Google calendars at best. And it's like, I can't imagine. Like I can't imagine.
Like, ah!
Well, when we got started with Handmade and Walla Walla, this is over a decade now, I don't think Jobber was out yet. We were doing something else. What were we doing?
We were using Google Calendars, but I think, we got Jobber like almost right away, because it was like we knew we had to get systems in place to grow. Otherwise, you're spending all your time and energy just trying to figure out what's going on every day. So there's no, and trying to keep note of it. So it's not, it's just not as easily accessible also to your team. If you're doing pen and paper, if something changes, you can't just change it in OneNote that is there for everybody to see. It's definitely a must if you want to grow your business, is to get those automations in place.
Right. And I think some people, no, go ahead, Melissa.
I was just going to say real quick, I love how it secures the information in there safely.
Yeah.
So it's all that private information is locked up in there and can't be accessed. The cleaners have access to it while they're on the job, as far as codes and that type of thing. And then once the job's complete, it kind of locks them out, of that. So I really like that feature just as a safety measure. That was all.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
So with there's a lot of crazy going on in the world right now. And specifically here in the United States of America. And so, with all this happening with the economy and the, people talking about recession and maybe a depression coming up, who knows, maybe world, nuclear war, all this stuff. How is the economy doing in Las Vegas, specifically in regards to the cleaning industry? Is it business as normal for y'all there, or is it slower, or are you seeing any kind of growth?
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of a combination of it all, really. I don't really see the recession here. I mean, I see the prices all going up, so I see that aspect of it, but I don't see the cleaning industry here cutting back. During COVID, 90% of the cleaning companies shut down and people just quit and left their jobs. And we were essential, so we stayed opening. We had fogging machines, we had the AHCA product. I mean, we had the machine to make it. We were really set to go for that period. A lot of our cleaners made masks for the retirement homes. If we couldn't serve on a cleaning capacity, we were taking clients to doctor's appointments. We were filling needs so I could keep the cleaners busy and keep them working.
Right.
That was really priority for me to do because there was need for it. And we were picking up a ton of work. We just didn't have the staff to carry all of that load because it was so much. And we were helping small businesses get back to work. We were fogging gyms. We were doing what we could do just to help the community, stay above water. And it kept us fed and kept us alive too, as well. So an aspect of, and people were wanting cleaning, and that was we were taking new clientele on top of that, not just from the other cleaning companies, those clients, but we were taking on new clients as well that were afraid of it, that were afraid of getting it in their home or, any aspects. But our issue probably with the rest of the world as employment signs or hiring signs are in every, company that I've ever seen here in Vegas that I go to. That has been probably the number one severe issue for us here in Las Vegas and probably the world. And me as a company, it has affected our growth. As far as the rest of it, it's not been a problem. It's just been that being able to hire and get quality cleaners in onboarding and stuff. That's probably been the biggest issue. For 2 years, we had struggles with that. We would set 300 notices out and maybe 2 would show up for an interview and they weren't qualified, to even be in the interview. So because they didn't have a Nevada driver's license, or they didn't have a car, or they didn't, they weren't able to speak fluent English. So that's something that we'd like to change, as we get more and more staff hired. We'd like to have more Hispanic cleaners to come on board and be able to fill those needs too. But there's also the other end of it where we have a lot of families that don't speak other languages. And so they struggle with that when they have, just Spanish speaking cleaners in their home, because they're like, we can't communicate with them, so they have that barrier too. So those are more our struggles here than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say to a cleaning service owner, or what advice would you offer them if they said, you know what, I can't find anybody, I can't, hire anybody, I'm having problems. And what would you say to them if they came to you with that question?
Yeah, I've had really good success with Indeed. Doing the ads, just doing the paid ads. You can do it for free too, but I feel the paid ads get you a little more quality than quantity, and quality is where it's at. You're wanting those A players, you're wanting the team players that are detail orientated, that have some experience, that or don't, or that just are really detail orientated, that you can train into the home. Our other option, I think, that we do is we do Facebook posts with hiring ads on that. On all social platforms, if you can put your hiring ads on there, it could just be as much as attaching an application with "we're hiring," and then some small short detail about your company and why you're hiring and what kind of team member you're looking for. But as far as we tried Root Recruit, that really didn't pan out for us very well. And we've tried other couple, I think, landing page type funnels through other companies, and that really didn't pan out for us. Indeed has probably been the most popular as far as getting what we need and what we want. So, but social media, we've picked up some cleaners from there too. And really just word of mouth. If you have a staff already, ask them to ask around if they have friends, if they have family members, others that might be interested in having this type of freedom. Because to me, that's what we're offering our cleaners, is we're offering them, a little more freedom, so they can drop their kids off from school and then go clean a couple homes and then pick their kids up from school. If they have a doctor's appointment they need to get to middle of the day, we keep ours within a 10-mile radius of their zip code of where they live. And so we want them to be able to pick their kids up from school or go to a doctor appointment without it, completely taking the full day off or not getting paid at all, for the day. So we like to make sure we're taking care of them too. They're just as important, if not more important, than actually the clients are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
As far as taking care of them and making sure that their needs are being met and that they're feeling valued and taken care of, because it is more of an employee world right now. It's not an owner hiring world. It's all about, the employees right now and getting them on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's something that, Kevin and I have strived to do from the beginning of, getting into this industry. And we knew it was really important because you can be flexible. While you're building your team, really working with them and their schedules, and as long as there's communication, that's the most important thing. It's just the communication, and then making plans around those schedules for your team members. And it helps them feel respected. Like a lot of other jobs, it's like, even if you don't want to work weekends, because you have baseball games or whatever, you know, in your personal life, you're told that you have to come in. And it's like, that's really, I think, a huge plus that will help people come on board and then stay on board, because that's a gift to them as moms and busy people, to be able, you know, with kids and whatnot, to be able to make their own schedules. So yeah, it's very important. And our hiring process, or our hiring avenues of like actually, you know, picking up those good employees, have been very similar to yours. Indeed, Facebook, and then word of mouth, and then word of mouth through our current team members. And that seems to be almost the best every time, is the recruiting from within.
Yep.
So for sure.
Well, here's some good news for us, maybe not for everybody, but where was it? I think it was Goldman Sachs a couple weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, came out with a report saying that and I can't remember the time frame here, but it is in the very near future that there were going to be, remember the number, but it was in
35 million
Americans that are going to be replaced by AI and technology. And so what does that mean? That means that there's going to be more opportunity for us to, build stronger teams. Yeah. And so that's coming in the near future. Not that robots replacing humans is a good thing, but yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, and another piece of that puzzle is that it has been deemed like one of the safest, if not the safest, like industry.
I think it was the safest.
Yeah, the safest industry from this whole AI craze, and like, you know, replacing sometimes even lawyers are being replaced through
ChatGPT.
Yeah,
people are using ChatGPT now to, like, you know, write all their legal letters and everything, whereas, you know, before ChatGPT, people would have to hire at least a paralegal or something, if not a lawyer, to be able to write just simple letters for you. And so it's ChatGPT is an awesome tool, and if you don't know what it is, you know, we encourage you to look it up. It'll certainly help you in your business, but yeah, kind of scary at the same time, you know, as we see, human beings being replaced by computers and technology and stuff.
Well, our industry is very skilled. And so because of that, they're not going to be able to create AI to take over what we do for a very long time. I mean,
look at the robots that they have now, right? The floor robots, everybody knows them, right? And we've all seen the pictures in the AHCA community group of that robot tracking shit all around people's homes and everything, right? And so that's where they are with, you know, the technology and the cleaning industry. That's about as far as they can go right now. And just like Ray said, they're saying that the cleaning industry is the safest industry and the best industry to be in, because the job of a professional house cleaner is so skilled that they can't make a robot or a software program or anything to do the work that we do. And that's really super cool.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Could you imagine a robot going and picking up a vase? I mean, yeah, no, I can't see that happening in a really long time. Yeah. They're trying to do it in commercial. They've got some, you know, they don't work. I mean, they're just saturating the whole room.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And we haven't seen anything like that here.
So for commercial, they're like spraying down like the bathrooms. Is that what you're saying? Like
the machine that they have, I'm sure everyone has seen the videos on it, but yeah, it literally just sprays the whole bathroom down from top to bottom. So it's saturated with water, and who knows how long that has to.
Probably not just water, but pesticides and all kinds of poisons and everything that they're just spraying and just letting drip dry and everything. And we're gonna be seeing like all kinds of shit growing like on the walls and everything. You know it's coming, and we just all get sicker and sicker. And it just makes me wonder if that's what their whole plan is just to get us all sick. You know?
Yeah. I'll keep my tongue on this. I'm gonna go somewhere with it, but I'm not.
So, what advice would you give to somebody that, you know, is, their dream is to build a successful cleaning company and lead a strong team. And they've been a solo cleaner, maybe they have one or two technicians, and they're trying to take their business to that next level and kind of work more on building their business, maybe in the office or even training an office manager, but they just can't seem to get to that next level of exiting the field and putting more focus on growth. What if someone's struggling on that step? What would you say to them?
I'd say there's quite a few layers to that. Most importantly is to develop your skills, invest in yourself, get as much education, get as much certification as you can, become the authority in your business, be that authoritative voice. So when you're answering the phones, or when you're going out in the field, or when you have a situation come about, you know exactly what caused it, or you know what to do to fix it. So know your metals, know your stones, know your woods, know what type of tile you're working with, everything that you what kind of wood you're working with, laminates, all of that stuff. Become the authority in that, and really invest in yourself, really develop your skills. You have to come out of the field. You need to work on your business, not in your business. If you're going to grow it, you need to get out of the field. You've got to just let go. The key is letting go. You're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Trust the people that you hire are going to carry the load for you. It is a transition. It's hard to get the client's mind wrapped around letting you go, because they're used to you. They love you. You've become their family. But it's time to bring in, your team, start introducing them into your new clients' home, or into your clients' homes, and just slowly integrate yourself out. But the key is communication. And then getting yourself completely out of the field and working on your business. That way you can grow it, getting your systems in place. If you have to take some courses, there's lots of cleaning courses out there that'll help you get more systems, more knowledge. But that's key. I think number one is just getting yourself out of working in the homes and working on the business. For me, that was the key, was letting go of, they're going to be fine. You're hiring the right people. You're trusting the right people to do the right things, so that you can focus on growing your business, hiring more people. And that's it. It's just keep hiring, and you'll eventually just keep growing. And as people leave, you'll still be hiring people, so it's not going to damage you in your growth, or even in the business. It'll be a little setback, but you've got new people coming in all the time, so you're filling that need if that happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers. I mean, I could spend 5 hours talking to you about this, because it's so much. Just, it sounds so simple just to come out of the field and work on the business. It's not that easy.
I think that one of the major concerns that people have that, are kind of trying to make this next step or whatnot is that, I'm used to a certain amount of revenue coming in each month, right? And that includes me physically working in the field, and I'm billable at that point, right? But if I step out of the field and I'm now in the office, then I'm not billable anymore. And so I'm going to see a significant drop in revenue and a significant drop in income for our family. And so what's something, that what steps can we take to kind of fix that or help make that leap?
For me, it was a little bit of a time where that was uncomfortable. The money part of it was a little uncomfortable, and not, like you said, not being billable. You really need to create a billable amount for yourself, what your hourly is, track your hours, what you're in the office, if you're out quoting, whatever it is that you're doing, track your time, make yourself billable. And because you're the owner of the business, you can still get paid as you're working in the business. So working on the business, but you need to make yourself billable. You have to create an income for yourself, and then you need to make sure it fits within your profits and loss, your COGS. And if you don't have enough cleaners to support you, you need to hire more cleaners. You need to pick up more work.
Right.
So maybe a little transition window where you're working part-time in the field and you're working part-time on the office, but you've got to transition yourself to where you can do that, fully, with making the income that you need to make to survive. And for me, there was a little uncomfortable period where, 6 months, I just said, okay, I'm going to just grow the business and not make an income, but I could afford to do that. So I had enough in place and enough income built up, in place that I could take the 6-month hiatus and just grow the business. And that's what I did. I just trained, hired. And before COVID hit, I think we had 18 cleaning technicians. And then we had people move. We had, people graduate school, so they went on to do their career. So we had a lot of that happen, and then I think we went down to half, and then we kind of slowly just are starting to build back up and grow again. So we've had that happen to us as well, where I've had to kind of go back on what I make and put it back into the cleaners and grow the business, which you have to do. It's just part of the stepping stones. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the income in place to carry you, then you've got to find that medium balance that you can still do, and then an income you can make to pay yourself.
Right. Because
legally that is your right as a business owner, is to make an income for your work that you're to it.
Right.
So there's got to be a way for everyone to find that balance for themselves. And I think it's unique for everyone. Everyone's going to have their own system, their own requirements of what they need to earn and how much, and then how much time they're willing to put in the business versus working in the business.
Right. Yeah, it's a process and it takes time. And in order to grow, you have to go through that. And even if there is a dip in a little bit of the income for a time, it's worth it in the long run. And then you also need to make sure that your rates are high enough to pay your team well. Right? And so if you are, let's say, charging $30 an hour, you really will have to set yourself up, taking on more clients that will pay you, at least at this point, I think $50 an hour minimum is probably a good amount to shoot for, because we want to be able to pay our teams well too, so that they will, they can have a career in this. And I don't know if you've taken the AHCA's professional house cleaning or professional cleaning provider course. You have?
I believe so. Yeah, I think I have the certification for that.
Okay.
Owner one.
Yeah. So that's also a really good course to give your team members, because it really teaches just pride in what they're doing and making it a focus on them and the work that they do for your company. Like you were saying, it's an employee's world right now. And really this industry has been more about the business itself rather than the people doing the work. And a lot of the systems that and it doesn't sound like you do that, but a lot of companies have put more of the focus on the actual business and the owners of the business and the management and everything, and just see their team members as people cycling through to just get the unskilled menial labor done. And so that's a really crucial thing for, I think, companies at this time to, if they're headed in that direction of I almost want to say sliding their team and seeing them as just laborers who aren't skilled and aren't really that important, that can be replaced by anybody. You're not building a strong team if you're doing that, right? You're actually creating something that will eventually cave, because people won't want to do that kind of work if they don't understand that it's actually important. People like to feel important. They want to know what the hard work that they're doing is super important to people's life. And so the PCP course goes through the history and some of the psychology, and just the impact that cleaning has on people's lives. And that's a good, I would say maybe 30% of the course is focused just on that. So, just how important this work is and how skilled it is. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, people say, hey, why hasn't house cleaning ever really been seen as like a professional trade? And I think that, you know, that exactly is the problem, what you just said, how the industry has always been so top heavy
mhm.
and owned by, all these big corporations and then the chemical manufacturers own a lot of those big corporations. And so it's always been about, hey, what's in this cleaning bottle right here is like, the magic, and
It's
this
not
is,
really the person applying it.
no, not at all. It has nothing to do.
We could just spray the whole room down, right?
Just like the robot. See, you don't even need a human being. It's just going to spray shit everywhere. Oh, by the way, don't worry about what's in it. It's good for you. But so the people that are doing the work and pushing up, hey, it just pushes the spray bottle and that's all it does, right? And so that's always been the mindset of the big corporations that have owned the cleaning industry up until,
recently,
4 or 5 years ago, right? And so, and of course, there hasn't been any respect for house cleaners. Of course, people can't make a career working for Melissa Sharp's cleaning company in Las Vegas. Of course, because it's low quartile, they would say, and it's just, hire people through, put them, put a T-shirt on them, give them a clipboard or whatever, and then throw them in a car and tell them to, drive to the house and just spray the thing and wipe it. And so that's the mission of the American House Cleaners Association. That is the whole purpose of this community, is to raise the awareness of, hey, guess what? Technology can't replace us. We're the most irreplaceable. Why? Not because we just go in there and spray everywhere. No, because we are a skilled trade. And so there's a lot of really good things happening and changes in the industry. And what are your thoughts about that, Melissa? What would you say is the biggest challenges in our industry right now? And then what are your thoughts about the future of our industry?
I'm kind of on the same page as you with, you've got to take care of your cleaners. You've got to, there has to be a unity, a team, a camaraderie, a family feel. You've got to make sure you're nurturing them and growing them, giving them, options like taking these certifications. And we make that available to our team. We have with, we did that with COVID, with the COVID certifications. So it's important to invest in them and to let them know they're important, give them, as much guidance and communication as you can, but also give them that freedom that they need to, to feel validated that they're where they're supposed to be. And yeah, just we don't hire just a pulse. That's not what we want in our business. We want to make sure they're a good fit. We want to make sure they're happy. We want to make sure we're taking care of them, and we want to check in with them, every week or every other day. We just want to check in and make sure, hey, do you need anything? Do you need some support? Whatever it is that sometimes maybe it's personal or something they might need advice on, legally or whatever. Just showing up for them in ways that they might need is important to keep connected to your team and keep growing. And then as far as the challenges is really when we start to hire, all these amazing people that are going to start leaving medical fields and wherever they're being replaced, we're going to have so much skilled talent that, we're going to need to catch up to being able to get them certified, to be able to get them, all the education that they need, because they're coming from having that experience like I did, having the schooling and having some of that experience and coming over. And it was like, what do I do here? How do I run a business? How do I do these things? And so getting myself educated and certified and basically developing my skills, and then also investing in myself with the education of this is a skill. This isn't just, throw a bunch of stuff in your trunk and go clean homes without insurance, without bonding, without, the protections in place. It's not that kind of world anymore that you can do those things. It's not safe. And the other, I wouldn't want to be in someone's home and not have any kind of insurance or not have any kind of protection in place, because you can get sued, if you do something, or if they say you did something, those are the other things that we deal with in this field too. the challenges of client said versus the cleaner says. You know, that's a challenge in this industry too. So that's why trust is so important here. But yeah, I think I feel the same way you do about that as far as the AI goes, and then getting all of this skilled work that's going to be coming our way. We're going to need to kind of step up our game here, because they're going to be walking into needing more education, more skills, more courses, more certifications, whatever it is that you know that they're going to need to get educated in what this is. You know, the chemicals, learning the balances of the chemicals, what not to mix, what pH is, you know, just all those things. It's chemistry.
It's chemistry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot more there with that too. You can't just throw somebody out there and you give them bleach and Comet. They're going to create, you know, a chemical cloud that could kill people and kill animals and kill them. You know, there's a lot of severity to this job. It's not, that's why there's MSD sheets. That's why, you know, there's chemical hazards on a lot of all of the bottles. You know, there's skill in knowing what to do there, and there's training there available for that. Right. So that's important. Those are important skills to have and knowledge to have.
Yeah, I agree, Melissa. And, you know, I really believe that cleaning could have been a college degree. Like, you know, you could get your PhD in cleaning, period. I mean, we deal with thousands of different surfaces on a yearly basis, like among, you know, all of our teams dealing with it. And then, you know, each house that we do, the different commercial buildings that we do, we are literally dealing with thousands of different materials every day. So like with the PCP course, I know it could go more into depth, but the point of it is to give like a foundation so you can kind of put the pieces together and make educated decisions. With that information, you kind of have it all. Like you have the safety of the pH levels and what can be used on what type of surfaces. Like, for example, natural stone is one category, because all natural stone has a tendency to respond to certain pHs in a similar way. Some are more sensitive than others, like marble. I hate marble. I mean, I love it. It is very finicky and it grows mold and it stains extremely easily. But you can't use these corrosives on it because then you ruin the surface. So it can be very tricky, but like in the PCP course, I mean, we could literally make a college out of this. Like there could be a university for cleaning. So, but yeah, so we have to like be building our systems now as our economy and our workforce world changes, so that these people coming from, like you said, these other professional careers that maybe are like, hey, you know what? I really like to clean and I can make pretty good money doing this, working for this team. Right. And then they are going to want that knowledge base and then continued education, which I think also involves just discussion with them and like figuring things out together, learning together, and like, you know, how can we better address this? And that not being too rigid, but allowing them to contribute, since they're out there every day dealing with the different situations and whatnot. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Melissa, I know that you have 2 cleaning companies. Can you tell us about your other cleaning company?
Sure. Yeah. So during COVID, kind of is how this came about. Was we clean a lot of senior communities. So we do a lot of homes in the senior communities, and in those communities, they'll have rec halls, they'll have pool centers, you know, they'll have dining halls and gyms and those types of facilities in these centers. And we were getting contacted by the centers if we could come in and we could fog or we could disinfect and clean and sanitize. And so what we found out was they have associations, and if we're cleaning in there for their clientele that live there, we could not clean as this business, that rec center, because it was a conflict of interest. The association wouldn't allow it. So then we created American Made Cleaning Service, which is our commercial business that handles those types of facilities. We do Airbnbs, we do VRBOs. So we do long-term, short-term rental here. It's a big turnover here in Las Vegas, as I think everybody knows. So we're able to service them as well under American Made Cleaning Service, and then the commercial accounts. We do have a few on Maids2Nv smaller facilities and little automotive and little offices that we do under Maids2Nv, but there's no conflict there. The conflict came when, like, if we do the golf communities, we do a lot of clientele in the golf communities, and then they hire us to do the facility, all the facilities on the property. We have to come in as American Made to do that.
Nice.
So
Interesting.
Commercial account business, we grew, and we just kind of expanded with the economy and with, you know, what was going on in our world at the time. We needed a way to service them, and that's how we did it.
Cool.
Very cool. Well, we got 3 minutes. What's your end goal? What does your life, what does your businesses look like in 3 years from now, in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now?
Really just growth. We want to grow. We want to take over Las Vegas Valley. We really want to make what we do important, and we want to show the community what it's supposed to look like. Not, you know, the hiring 10 different companies and not happy with the services, this and that and whatever. We really want to remove that from their mouths and just really replace it with, really love our service. We love, you know, our cleaning technician, and maybe we get 10 different ones, you know, but we love all of them because they provide the same product, that same service that each of them. So we're consistent. You know, we want that. We serve the community. We want to make sure we're doing, you know, our part in giving back. You know, we go and we clean for disabled veterans, for cancer patients, leukemia, kids with autism, families that have mental illness. You know, we go in and we come in as a team, and we just wipe the house out, clean it, put it back together so they have a clean environment and a safe place to live. We do that quite a bit, and that's important to us. So we just want to grow that. We want to keep growing. We want to keep expanding. We want to take over the valley. That's our goal. 3 to 5 years.
We believe that y'all will definitely do that. And thank you for joining us today. And it's been a lot of fun visiting with you and getting to know about you and your business better. And that's it for today's show here at the Not Just a Cleaning Lady show. We'll be broadcasting live again tomorrow, actually 11 a.m. Central Time. We'll have Fernanda joining us, and we're looking forward to speaking with her tomorrow. So Melissa Sharp, Las Vegas, Nevada, thank you again, and we'll see you all around soon.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I appreciate you.
You
Take
too.
care, y'all.
Take care.